All right, well, welcome everyone. My name is Bill Fanning, and I'm the leader of Talk, and really excited to have you here today. We've got a great guest speaker joining us from a company called Reelist, and what I'm really excited about today is we did a local event for them in New York City, and I really walked away personally with some new data around the way people are consuming jobs in different types of job classes. It was awesome. I'm not going to spend a lot of time going over the Talk platform because we're all members. If anybody has any questions or would like to talk about board seats or anything like that, you can message me through the Talk platform. I'd love to hear from you. But I'm going to make the use of the time here for Katie from Realist. So I am a huge believer in what they're doing. I think that the way we distribute our opportunities to the market needs to take a much more to a broader appeal, a broader use of social, so it gets to the right people that in the mechanisms that they're using. So I'm going to stop talking about that, but I'm excited about it, and I'm going to let Katie walk you through and turn it over to her. So, Katie, take it away.
Great. Thank you, Bill. And thank you, everybody, for joining. Again, we're going to talk about how you can unlock the next generation of talent with video and social media. And before we get started, just to get things moving, could you drop a comment in chat letting me know if you've tried hiring off of social media before? I'd love to know, yes, no, thumbs up, thumbs down. And we'll just take a look at that and pull that in as we go. The other thing I'd like to mention as we get started is, first of all, feel free to ask questions anytime. I'd love to hear anything you are thinking about, any questions you have. If you have any particular topics that you would like to cover, specific topics that you'd like to learn about hiring off of social with video, please drop them in chat and we'll pull up your comments and thoughts about what you'd like to learn and pull them into the webinar as we get going. And then the last housekeeping piece is a fun one. We're really grateful for your time. And as part of the webinar, we're raffling off Yeti coolers. So for every 50 people here, we'll raffle off a Yeti cooler so you have a good shot of winning. You even get to pick the color of your cooler. There's a link that we're going to throw up in chat now. So you can just go on there, enter your name and email, and we will put you into the raffle to win it. If you have to leave early, you can enter your name now. You can also enter it at the end of the webinar if that's better for you. All right, great. So let's get started. So Bill, if you want to move forward.
Yep.
I'm Katie Shuk. I'm the co-founder of Reelist. And together with my co-founder, Sean Warden, we've been hiring off of social media for over 15 years. We've hired off of every major social media platform, TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube, Facebook, for all size companies from 6-person teams to Fortune 300 companies. And what we're here today to share is some of the things we've learned about video and about social media. So first, we're going to talk about video. And then what should a job video look like? This is a big question for people. And one of the things that we get asked a lot. So really what a job video looks like is something that's going to fall on this XY axis up towards the top left. So that means that the videos that work for jobs and for hiring in particular have a high social value. And that means that they're easy to share with your friends and with your family. And they feel more authentic. They don't feel like they're highly produced. So as you see on the x-axis over to the right, you see Netflix, those would be cinema movies. And up on the top left, you have your Instagram, TikToks, and that's where job videos fit. So let's look at what a good job video looks like. We'll show you a real one.
What's up, guys? My name is Q. I work here at the Chelsea Bakehouse. Let me show you a little bit of what I do. My name is Kwame Thomas. Most of the people here, actually everyone here, calls me Q. I work in the kitchen department as a pizza chef. One of the main reasons I love working here is because I consider myself an artist and I like to perfect my craft. Making pizzas was something that I hadn't had much experience with, so I got to pick up a new craft, and now I'm currently working to perfect it. I love everything about it, from making the dough to making the starter for it and learning all the toppings and the different ways that people want to be innovative with their food. I love the environment. It's a pretty laid-back environment. Everyone that works here is very humble. We're all our unique individual selves, and we all just vibe really well together, which I think is really important.
All right, so let's.
What's up, guys? My name is
Bill,
Q.
if you could move on. I'm going to test your elephant brain. So I have a couple questions. You can call out the answers out loud. You can drop them in chat if you prefer. First question is, what does Q do?
Make pizza.
Yes, yes. Okay, why does he like his job?
Because he's an artist and he
Yes,
loves craft.
exactly. Not necessarily something you'd think about with pizza, right? Does it make you want to be a pizza maker, or does it make you more interested in the job or get an understanding of what that job entails? Anyone? Yes,
I just think he puts a new spin on pizza making as artistry. I loved it.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. Excellent points. 100%. Yes. So this is the beauty about video. People remember it. And in fact, just to drop some stats on you, people retain 95% of a message from a video versus 10% of a message from text. So videos are super effective for getting people to understand and grasp something in a very short amount of time. So that actual video drove hundreds of thousands of views, likes, shares, and hires. And the people that it hired a year ago are still working there today. So we're going to talk about that in the next slide. One of the other benefits of video, and Bill, if you want to advance, one of the other benefits of video is that it gives job seekers an understanding of what a job entails before you're signing on. So quick poll, thumbs up, thumbs down. If you think over 50% of people say their job is different from what they expected when they started it, thumbs up. And if you think that it's less than 50%, thumbs down. So thumbs up if the job is different from what they expected. Yes. Actually, you guys are on it. You're correct. So 61% of employees say that their job is different from what they expected when they read that job description. So the reason that's really important is because 43% of people who quit in the first 90 days say that it's because their job wasn't what they expected. So we're going to talk a little bit about more on the next slide about what video is good for. And Bill, if you want to advance.
Absolutely.
So this is a quote from Joseph Sims. He's the Chief Diversity Officer for Stanley Black & Decker. And his belief is that diversity, DEI moves need to be built into a recruiting effort. They can't just be tacked on or bolted on. So the beauty of video is that it helps people understand what they can aspire to, what's out there, and what the opportunities are. And typically when people are growing up, their circle of influence, their friends, their family, the things that they can see around them influence what they believe is available to them. But with video, they have a built-in way to attract, companies have a built-in way to attract diversity into their organization. So if you click again, Bill, you'll see.
Just want to let you know, we had two questions come in.
Oh, yes.
One was from Leslie Hafter that said, does target audience make a difference in numbers that you were going over? And the second one was from Ann Colazzo, which was, where are these stats coming from? So I just wanted to throw them out there.
Sure. So I'll start quickly with the stats where they're coming from. The percent retention of the message versus text is from Forbes. The 61% of the jobs that are different, that employees say they're different from the job and then what they expected, is from Glassdoor survey. And 43% of the people who quit in the first 90 days is from Inc. The stats do vary according to level. These are typically more entry-level jobs, more entry and mid-level. I would say the C-suite type jobs are don't have the same figures. So excellent questions. Is there further questions on that?
Oh, go ahead. You
video, I believe that was 49 seconds. I can pull it up. Let me see. Let's see, that is 50 seconds. It's actually a little bit long for our videos. Typically our videos range, our average length is about 28 seconds. They range between 15 seconds and 43 seconds. Different platforms have better lengths of videos. So if you're going up on Snapchat, you don't want to be longer than 15 seconds. I will talk about that some more later, and I have some more data on that. Excuse me, it is variable based on the platform in terms of how long it should be, but a good first a stop for most platforms is somewhere around 25 to 30 seconds. Any other questions, or did I answer everything you had on the other stuff? We're good? Awesome. So moving forward, Bill, if you wanna. So these are just a number of different faces. So you can see people in all walks of life doing different jobs, and seeing somebody that looks like you, enabling you to visualize yourself in that job is a very powerful mechanism of video. So let's talk about some of the ways that you can cut your costs on video and keeping it inexpensive. So the first tip for you is to use content creators, not production companies. This is the best way to 10x your budget. Using a content creator versus a videographer. So videos take days to make or from days to make into minutes to make. So content creators, typical video can be made in like 15 minutes, 20 minutes max for filming. And then the whole video end to end with editing can be under 60 minutes. Content creators, the cost runs around $500. Videographers, it's 5,000 plus. And then the beauty about content creators, one of the beauties of it is that they come in typically much less as a production. So there's not the lights and the cameras and the whole sound bar and everything. So what ends up happening is people are much more relaxed because it's a lot more casual, and they don't have that nervous anxiety in front of the camera that you get with videographers. And the beauty is that the goal of job videos is to be authentic while maintaining your brand, while making sure that you are brand appropriate. It's not to be perfect. It's not to be a perfectly scripted video. So the second tip is film in 9:16 versus 16:9, unless you film it in 4K at 30 frames per second. So the reason you want to film in 9:16 is when you put it up on social media, it's much more natural. Over 94% of mobile users hold their phones vertically when they're watching the videos. That source is from eMarketer. You have more completed views. Vertical videos have up to 9 times more completed views than horizontal ones. That source is from Snapchat. And you have more engagement. Vertical videos on Instagram have an engagement rate that's 2 to 3 times higher than horizontal videos, and that source is from Buffer. The third tip is still on this slide, is to use captions. 75% of videos are watched with the sound off on average. It's higher for some platforms versus others. So it's 85% for Facebook videos, absolutely critical to have captions for Facebook. 80% of LinkedIn videos are watched with sound off. But for Instagram, it's 40%. So maybe not as critical for Instagram. And then the final tip for you is on the next slide. Don't stick to the script. Ask your interview questions, prepare a list of interview questions, 8 to 10 questions that you ask your people for your job interview. but then don't interrupt them. Just let them keep talking, because once they start talking, they'll just get into the things that matter to them and the things that are meaningful. And they may not be what you expect. So channel your inner investigative journalist, and that's when you're capturing the magic of your company and just asking them why, tell me more, a lot of and hmms, and that'll get them going, get them comfortable. So answering then the last piece of this is talk to them about answering the question with the question. So if you say, what do you do in a typical day? They would answer with, in a typical day, I do this, this, and this. That way you can cut and paste different parts of the interview into different parts of your video. So if they're really smiling and excited about something that happens at the end, you're able to grab that part of your video and put it up at the beginning when it'll grab people's attention. So that's that on video. Now we're going to turn quickly over to social and how social can help you. So quick question as we get onto this slide. How much time a day do you spend on social media? Anybody? 2 hours, 45 minutes, too much?
More,
Yes.
more than I would
too.
care to admit.
Yes, that's right. Oh my gosh. Does everybody like me? I am like appalled every time I get my time on phone every day. Oh, good for you, Erica, 20 minutes. All right, so according to Morning Consult, Gen Z spends over 94% of Gen Z spends over an hour a day on social media, and then 71% spend over 3 hours a day. So Gen Z is on social media, and that is a great place to reach them where they're spending their time. So if we turn to the next slide, this is what we are casually calling the Reelist rule of 70%. And we believe that it really highlights the potential of social media. So 70% of job seekers are passive, according to LinkedIn, which you all know is, people are open to a new job, but they're not actively searching for it. So social media gives you the opportunity to get your job in front of those people who are not taking action themselves. 70% of employers find that referred employees are a better fit. That's a job bite quote. And social media, that takes advantage of social media's ability to drive referrals, because people share on social media. They like to share videos. Nobody likes to share text as much as videos. We've seen things up to 1,200% higher share rate with video. The last thing I'll say in terms of the 70% is that referred employees stay 70% longer. This is a Zippia quote. And with the sharing capacity of social media, you will drive employee referrals and therefore drive retention. So some other things that social media can help you with, and you can use social media ads to, and Bill, if you want to go forward, you can use it to build your company and job awareness in English and in any language you choose. So if you don't necessarily have a well-known brand, if they're not following you on social, you can get your name out there. You can recruit college students directly. So if you promote your jobs in the towns where the colleges are based, you can take your message directly to college students, supplementing or in some cases replacing your direct deals with the colleges. And then you can really speed up hiring for seasonal workers, new projects, new locations. You can give it a boost through social media. And then the last thing I'll say on this is that with social media, you have the opportunity to, and this is the last page, sorry, not the same slide, Bill, the next slide, is about data. So social media ads give you the opportunity to A/B test or ABC test your messaging and the people that you're showing and the platforms that you're using to understand what's really resonating with your job seekers. So in a really explicit and exciting way, you can feature different reasons why people work at your company, whether it's your flexibility or your benefits or the lifestyle, and maybe it's the work culture. And you can feature those different things in your videos and test them up against each other and see what drives most response. We actually did this for one of our customers. They're a Fortune 300 company, and they wanted to attract engineers. And we featured a female engineer, a video featuring a female engineer and one featuring a male engineer. And we found that featuring the female engineer drove women applicants up by 20%. So again, back to that DEI opportunity, and also the opportunity to test which messaging, which people are really resonating with your job seekers. And that will give you a data-driven approach to your employer branding, talent marketing, and talent acquisition. So one thing about that's about social on the next slide is that it is hard to do correctly. The placements really matter. The platforms really matter. The way that you promote your jobs really matters. We do this for a living. We were purpose-built for talent acquisition teams to recruit and hire directly off of social media. So we give our companies the tools to create, post, promote, measure the ROI. And we have other features in there for like auto scheduling interviews, SMS. So if you want to learn more about what we do, you're welcome to reach out to us. Again, we'll drop that into the chat again about how to win that free Yeti cooler, so you can drop your name and we would be happy to talk to you.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if you got a chance to answer it, but there is a question from Alexis. And Alexis, I'm going to say Garrett. Do you see it up there?
I do. So
okay,
is
great.
town-specific posting done by hashtags? So sometimes, typically what we do is we geofence our ads. So if you do a posting, you can hashtag a town. But if you are doing a social media employment ad, you're able to geofence within a certain area. You can't target a specific zip code, but you can target within a 15-mile radius. It depends on the city, the area, but typically we do it through geofencing. And then how did you test that with your data approach? Did you have 1 month with the male focus? We did it at the same time. We put the social media ad up with a male and female up at the same time and pulled that data down, ran them together. What social site? Okay, so for that particular customer, we used Instagram and Facebook. Gen Z, yes. So that's really interesting. So typically our ads really attract a high percentage of Gen Z. So what we'll see is 70 to 85% are Gen Z millennial age, young millennial. And I will add to that, the platform really depends on the geography. So we have some customers who are very rural, and the better platforms in some of the rural areas are actually Facebook or sometimes Instagram. TikTok has less penetration in some of those rural areas. So you just really have to look and see. The ad platforms will tell you their population, but it is really interesting to see how geographically different they are. And to add to that, we have data on which platforms to use seasonally. So we've seen seasonal differences in, for instance, hiring with Snapchat in the winter can be more effective than in the summer in some of our locations. And then how do you determine which site to use when conducting a campaign for a client? So typically what we do, and good question, is we run a little bit of traffic through most sites. We will do some, our platform will make recommendations based on the type of job they're hiring for. So for example, if they're hiring a slightly older demographic, the platform will typically recommend not to use Snapchat. So there's some built-in first layer, but then after that, we will run small amounts of money against multiple platforms and then test and learn, and then push the campaigns towards the platforms that are performing. I don't know, Bill, if you want to drop so do you recommend creating a careers focused social page? Yes, that's a great question. I took it out of this presentation because I wanted to keep it short so we could have this conversation. But there's a huge number. I would say, I think the number is over 600,000. I think it's 690,000 life at career sites on Instagram right now. So we recommend, what we see is life at or careers at. And then the really important thing as you're thinking about a careers focused social presence, which we would absolutely recommend, because it helps you, the talent acquisition people, you guys, to manage your own employment presence. And oftentimes the marketing team doesn't want to put the employment stuff onto the marketing page because they're focused on consumers, they're focused on their customers. And so this gives you an opportunity to build up your focus. What I would say is what we've seen with Best in Class is companies that actually lean into who they are and what their culture really is like, not trying to pretend to be something that they're not, but really saying, like, hey, we're a serious place for serious people, or we're a fun and crazy place. One company that springs to mind that's done this really well is Blizzard Entertainment. Now, it's a little bit, I would say it's a little easier for them because they're a games company and they've got a real culture, but their life at Blizzard, I think it's Life at Blizzard or Careers at Blizzard. I think it's Life at. They show these, women, their employees with swords and, with in cosplay and stuff. And it's really, it feels very true to them. So as you're creating your page, think about having very consistent, relevant content. The mistake we see often with a life ad or a careers ad is that it has a kind of a hodgepodge of content up there where people are just throwing things in, and then you lose that cohesion and you lose that sense of this is what we're all about. And then also, so for your question, I just read it again, to run the ads on. So you can run the ads through your social page. We can also, if you use Reelist, obviously, we can run them off of ours. So you don't have to have a careers page to run them if that's not the direction you want to go in. So the way it works with our system, just to give you a view into how that works, is we can post the ads up, and then the applicants see the video, they can click on it, and then apply directly through our platform. And we can either take their contact information for you, or we can funnel the job seeker directly into your applicant tracking system or to whatever system you use to manage your job seekers. Yes, great point, Jessica. Life at AT&T is another good one. That's a really good point. Does anyone want to turn on their off mute and ask any questions live? I know it's a scary thing, but I'd love to hear any questions you have. We can continue in chat, that's no problem, but any questions you have about ads, video, Reelist, anything that you are struggling with?
I have a question. So I work at Centene, and we don't happen to have any social media pages currently running. What would you recommend for a company that doesn't have a social media page up to start so that it's not overkill, especially for a company that's not insanely well known?
Yes. So I would say a combination of two things. One is if you want to start with a social presence, I would start with I would recommend starting with a life ad or careers ad page and just get into a regular cadence of posting, whatever works for you. So whatever you think can be manageable, like once a week, once a day if you can, but sometimes that's not really feasible, or once a month. And whatever is a regular cadence that you can keep up, I would just start with that. And as you start with it, think about like, what do you want the feeling of your page to be? What's going to feel very authentic to your workplace? And if it's it's okay if it's not like the sexiest thing. It can be, but it just needs to feel like real. And posting short videos, trying to get engagement in that way. And then if the goal is also then to drive awareness of Centene jobs, I would say starting with ads, because that'll get your voice out there. Now, the interesting thing is, if you're not actually doing employment ads, if you're doing talent branding ads where you're talking about your company, you can be a lot more focused in your targeting. So employment ads are, that's the other thing that's really hard about employment ads, is they have to be very compliant with rules. And if you're not compliant with those rules, you will get kicked off of the social media platforms. So, you can't show alcohol and to like people who are underage, all those things. You all know that. But if you're running talent branding videos, you can be much more specific in your targeting. So if there are specific demographics, specific areas that you want to target, you can do that. Great question.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Sure.
So I work at the clothing brand Express, and at Express we have corporate roles, stores roles, fit models, distribution center, like so many different sectors that we hire. So what's your recommendation of balancing that when there's like completely different types of roles we offer with different audiences?
Oh, that's a great question. So what we typically see is, if you're posting to do like the employer branding, talking about kind of the ethos of the company and what the company is all about, and what people working there value about Express, and why that is a good kind of career opportunity. Because what we have found is that Gen Z young employees really value career growth. So the ability to see that trajectory and see themselves and the job opportunities there is really huge. So if you focus on the what and the why across your company, you'll start to build up things that are not just relevant for different ages, but you'll start to see some commonalities. So the what they do and the why they work there. Those are the things I would focus on. What is it?
Thank you.
Yeah.
I do have a question. When thinking of these campaigns, when trying to have more lead generation, what's your experience with that? For example, have you ever had an ad for careers or for jobs after, let's say, an associate spotlight or something? And have you ever had success in obtaining the information from them in order to contact them further about our opportunities in email or in text campaigns?
Yes. So let me repeat back your question, because I'm not 100% sure that I got it. But so it's a lead gen and it's following up with text, or was there more?
So I wanted to see your experience on using the campaigns for lead generation.
Yes.
whether that is, getting their email address, and emailing them separately in an email campaign, or a text
Yeah.
campaign, something like that.
Yes. Yes. So we've used lead gen. It's very effective. So my one thought on that, I have a couple thoughts on that. First of all, our applicant to hire ratio with the videos and then bringing people in to basically apply from the video and having a second step is off of our platform is a 3-to-1. So typically 3 candidates for 1 hire. Lead gen is a little bit less because I guess the ratio is a little bit higher, if you will, because you get more applicants. So you don't have quite the same applicant to hire ratio, but it's very effective for getting leads. So we've used it on TikTok, we've used it on Instagram. And the way we do it typically is we collect name, phone number, and email, and then we auto text applicants after we get their contact information. We find text to be a much more effective communication vehicle. And so through our platform, I mean, if you do it yourself, I don't know how that would work through our platform. When they click on the lead gen, they auto approve the text.
Okay, and so again, because I'm a novice when I think of the TikTok ads and everything like that. So there is an option when creating a TikTok ad to have them input their information.
Yes, and they don't ever have to leave the platform. It's very effective. You can get a lot
and then
of leads.
you do an auto text through the third party or whichever, and you ask them, is it like a automated where you have an AI saying, hey, what's your job title? When are you graduating? Or is it someone working behind the scenes putting that information in? Or what exact information, I guess, do you ask extra from your experience?
So we do it through our platform, so it's not a third party. So our platform enables the employers to send out text messages to the applicants. And what we do varies depending on our customers. Sometimes they want to send auto schedule interview. So it can automatically, so the platform syncs with the hiring manager's calendar, and our platform does. And so if they put in their information, we can say, hey, thanks for your interest, set up your interview now. And so they can actually go in and select an interview time for themselves. Other companies, other of our customers say, hey, thanks for your interest. Fill out this form and we'll get back to you. We do have one customer who likes to send tests to applicants. So it sends them this test that will launch, and they have to answer some questions. It's kind of like a Myers-Briggs type test. I don't necessarily recommend that, but it works for this particular hiring manager. But maybe that's better for some companies. But that's what we do.
Okay, that's really helpful. Thank you. We're thinking more lead generation generally. So thank you.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, lead generation is a great way to go, especially if you're looking to get your voice out there and get a lot of leads. And I saw Erica had a question. What is the average time a successful campaign lasts? So we've had campaigns last as short as 2 days. And, you get it depending on the hiring need. If you need like a couple of people, they can be, and you are in an area where there's enough population density and you get out there, your message is compelling, it can last 2 days. Some campaigns for hiring, hundreds of people, thousands of people will last for months. It really depends on the hiring need and the locations. So if you're in a really rural, low population area and you need a lot of people, it might take a little longer.
Katie, I had a quick question. This is Anne Marie, and I work for a large energy company here in Los Angeles. And so we're much more conservative in our thinking. So social media will be a little bit of a climb for us.
Yes.
Can you maybe share just how you've gained receptivity at the boardroom level to go forward?
Yeah. Okay. Great question. And I will tell you, we are very familiar with that. So, hey, quick question, Bill, do you mind taking off the slide so that I can see people's faces more? Thank you. So, one of our customers is Huntington Ingalls and Industries, and they build the nuclear submarines and aircraft carriers for the U.S. Navy. So we are very familiar with, companies that really are very conservative in the message that they put out. So a couple of things. One is, I would say, for conservative companies, you probably don't want to go in with TikTok. We don't use TikTok for those types of companies. It is, the job videos don't have anything that is proprietary in them, but that's usually a no-go. So I would say don't start with TikTok. I'd say the other thing to do is you can start with employer branding and start with the outreach. And then what's beautiful about the social media videos is that you start to capture this data, this richness of data on people who are responding to your messaging, and you can test and understand, what do people really care about? So, for instance, with Huntington Ingalls, they thought that their job message was going to be about service, serving your country, and doing something that was great for the country. And what they realized is that, their job seekers might like the idea of service, but that's not why they're going to apply. Reasons why people clicked on the videos was really much more about career growth and developing themselves as an employee. And so what they pivoted to for their overall messaging of their company was build it. Build your career, build the ship. So they were able to incorporate that concept of service in their messaging. But we found that large companies, perhaps in the energy sector as well, respond really well to the data that you can bring to the table that you're going to have with these this video-based social media effort.
Great insights. Thank you, Katie, very much. That's really helpful.
Yeah, you're welcome. My pleasure. Any other questions? These have been really great questions so far. I really appreciate everybody leaning in. I had a couple more slides that I took out. I'm trying to think about the other data we have. But anyway, there's just so much that you can do with these types of ads and this type of content.
How about video interviews? What's your take on video interviews, Katie?
So that's really interesting. We didn't start with video interviews because we were concerned that people would feel like it was profiling, that it would lead to negative bias. Actually, when we spoke to we did a lot of interviews with job seekers because we believe that one of the things that is hard in the industry right now is it's not very friendly to job seekers having to go to a job board and read through a job description. So the interesting thing we found is that job seekers are open to video interviews. It is very stressful for them, but candidates, we found of all types of candidates, all types of backgrounds, were actually excited about the opportunity to express themselves. But it does lead to some level of anxiety. So I think you can get a really good read on someone. I think actually you can get a feeling for whether that person is a good fit for the job in a way that it's really hard with a resume, especially now that there are all these AI tools out there for people to scan the job description and write their resume based on the job description. And so, it's really hard to even know. It's like this crazy circle of AI talking to AI. So I would say net, I think they're a good thing. I think you can get a real read on them. And we were pleasantly surprised that job seekers are open to it and don't see it. I would say a limited data set of, we spoke to about 200 job seekers, but in our limited data set, they did not see it as a negative bias that we had thought they might. Jessica, so I guess, oh yeah, good point, Jessica. Share with stakeholders how collateral can be used on multiple sites. Yes. Yeah, and really, I think a lot of times people are worried about social media and they're worried about video because video used to cost $10,000 or $50,000 or crazy things. And really, if you get a content creator, your videos can be $500 and you can get good videos, and they're just simple and unscripted. And that video that you saw earlier, that Q video, took literally 15 minutes to shoot and 1 hour to edit. Not even an hour.
One last question before we wrap up. As you are working with companies and really leveraging their employees to be the content creators, do you utilize any sort of a storytelling kit that you send to the person participating in? Is it personalized to, for example, the specific role you're highlighting, or is it kind of a general kit that they're using? I'm just thinking about, vertical versus horizontal, things like that, as well as different prompts or almost like tips that you're providing to make sure the quality of content is really what you're looking for. Or is this something that your team is collecting and kind of helping them with?
Yeah. So in terms of making videos, I mean, the way we do it, we make the videos in 3 ways. Either the companies make them themselves, they use, third-party content creators to make them if they know somebody they already work with, or sometimes they already have in-house resources, or we help them make the videos, and we make them for them. I would say we have a AI-powered toolkit. I know that's kind of the buzzword right now, but it's basically for all the pre-production work. The biggest part of a video is that pre-production. So planning what you're going to say, planning who's going to be in it, planning where it's going to be. So we help our customers understand, all of those things, all of the pieces that are in the pre-production, and then we give them, whether we're filming it or they're making it, we give them all the thoughts on, look, these are the types of questions you should ask. These are the kinds of things you should drill down on. And typically it's, you want to focus on just having 8 to 10 questions that then you incorporate into that basically 15 minutes of conversation. But there are a lot of tips that we provide in that, where it's, ways to make the videos more dynamic. So just a couple of things in our last couple minutes. What you want to avoid typically is having somebody sitting for the interview. The worst is having somebody sitting behind a desk for the interview. If you can, have them stand up, have some motion, have some movement, have a couple of icebreaker questions that you ask in there, like, what'd you have for breakfast? Everybody knows what they had for breakfast. In fact, we worked with a healthcare company, and it was all nurses, and every single one of the nurses said they had pizza for breakfast. It was the weirdest thing. But it just getting people laughing and getting them energized and having that energy on the video is really important. And I would say, plan for more people than you think. The thing that we have found is often that the people that the companies identify to be in the videos are not the best people in front of the camera. Some people that you wouldn't realize, they just show up, they have a presence, they have this gravity, and you just want to watch them. And things like your voice tone, So there's some people with very high pitched voices that can be kind of hard to listen to, or sometimes it's very compelling. You don't know until you try it. So I would say line up a couple people, few more than you think are necessary, and just get them on camera.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Anything else? Well, I so appreciate your time today. I appreciate all the great questions. Here is my kshoop at Reelist.com, because we took it off the thing. That's my email. And feel free to email me with any questions you have. I'd be happy to answer them, whether or not you are interested in using Reelist. We're going to do the drawing for the Yeti later today. So we'll send out an email. I don't know how many people attended. I feel like it's over 50. So if it's over 50, we'll be raffling off 2 of them. And we'll reach out and let you know. Guys, thank you so much. Appreciate your time. And Bill and Norm, thanks again. We really appreciate having Talk as a partner. You guys have been awesome.
Absolutely. And thank you, everybody, for being here. One of the things that we are doing within Talk is trying to bring other and new technologies that could be beneficial for us to meet and discuss what they do with them. So if anybody out there is a Talk member, is working with a product that's been phenomenal, or you've had a great experience with, please recommend them to reach out, or recommend them to me, so we can have conversations like this, interspersed with some of our more subject matter discussions, because I think it's great to learn and see how we're attacking the same problem we've had for years, but by leveraging new vehicles, new mediums, AI, all of the different things that are out there being interjected into talent acquisition today. So thanks, everybody, very much. I'm super glad you guys made the time to come here, and I will see all of you probably next week.
Great stuff. Thank you.
Thanks
so much. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thanks.